What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jake's Home Lab. Today I'm going to be reacting to a clip from the Sean Ryan show. A hacker shows off his EDC. So, let's get into it.
It's been about 3 years since you've been on the show. I want to do another EDC. I'm sure you got a lot of new stuff you're carrying, but I know you want to break into a van right now, so let's go out. We'll start it out there.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Basically, what this attack is so there's an old school attack called a roll jam attack, which means...
One quick disclaimer. Don't try any of this that he does in this video. Don't try any of this at home unless you have permission to do so. Okay, let's continue.
Means that
We're going to hack the fucking van.
That's exactly right. But the roll jam attack means that you have to put a jammer somewhere near the car, and that stops the key fob from wherever you're at trying to unlock the car or lock the car. And then somebody is, not the jammer. Let's just say the jammer is right here, and then I'm standing, behind where the camera is right now, and I'm trying to receive that signal. That signal never hit the car because the jammer stopped the car from receiving it. In that case, the car recognizes that code as a legitimate code because the car has never said it's a used code. Does that make any sense, son? I'm trying to find a way to explain the roll jam attack.
So you jam it, and then you send a new code because it hasn't seen the new code before it works.
So a roll jam attack is you would put a jammer in front of it, and then you're clicking your key fob over there. Your key fob is not working because the jammer's stopping the car from receiving your unlock. And then I'm somewhere else over near you. I'm receiving you clicking the button, and then the car itself never saw that code, but I have it. So I have one shot later, because the car sees it as a valid code but never got it. So that's the old school.
Another thing about that is once that happens, you have to get the key fob reconnected to the computer, from what I understand and what I know.
Way of doing this. What this method is when you click any button, whether it be the trunk, the lock, the unlock, the auto, it doesn't matter, any button that you click on your key fob, now I'm completely duplicating your key fob. So I have access to every single functionality of the car, whether it be lock, unlock, auto start, whatever it may be. And that is syncing with the rolling code system. It's not just that, it's not using the old school method. This is something that is being sold on the dark web for $500 to criminals. And Christmas is coming up. They're going to be going around popping trunks and standing in parking lots, just capturing keys, which I'll show how it works.
That's how I get my Christmas presents.
I know. I'm exposing how you do it. All right, so basically, now I'm just reading. And you already clicked it, but if you want to show the camera, every time he clicks it, you can see here, forward, forward, forward again. And it doesn't matter what button he clicks. It's just popping up as forward, right? So what I'll do is I'll click any of these, doesn't matter. And then I can save it. So I'm going to save it as 22. That way it's, save it as 22, just so that it's at the top of the list when I go to search for it. Okay, so now that I have 22, I'm going to hit emulate. And if you see on the screen, every single time I press a button, unlock, and then ready, I'm gonna lock. And you see how the code changed on the screen? So every time I click a button, it goes in line with...
The Flipper Zero is actually really, really cool. You can do tons of stuff with it. I have one, and then I have a Marauder.
The next rolling code in sequence that the key fob would have had synced with the car originally. So the danger in this is that by somebody clicking a button one time on their key fob, doesn't matter which one, now you have their entire key fob saved. And no, the Flipper can't just do this out of the box. I don't think you're going to buy one of these and get into anyone's car. Like I said, it's being sold on a Russian dark web, wherever. I don't want to give the location, for $500 for any criminal to load onto their Flipper. And now they can break into, sit in a parking lot and break into a bunch of cars in the middle, during Christmas, and ruin people's holidays. So figured I'd get it out there so people are aware of it. And the solution to it is, sadly, go up to your door and physically use your key. Or if you're one of those people that have have one of those key fobs that you can get close to the door and click the button and it unlocks, that's okay as well. But if you click a button, any button on your key fob, you're at risk of somebody completely stealing your key fob and having forever access to your car. I have a list, there's a ton of different makes and models, but if you want me to just go over the brands, it would be Ford, Chevy, Kia, Hyundai, Subaru, Fiat. There's, let me pull the
Toyota?
list up. Not Toyota.
That's good.
Let's see.
Honda?
Nope. Honda's in development, it says actually on the page. These are the vulnerable cars. And if I look at Ford, I see that
It's all of them.
the Transit right here, it is vulnerable, but it's models up to 2018, possibly up to 2022, but all the Fords.
Literally every.
Oh, so Mitsubishi, Honda's coming soon, Ford, Fiat, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Ferrari, Maserati, Subaru, Hyundai, Kia, and basically every model within each one up to certain years. So a lot of cars, millions and millions of cars are vulnerable to this
I got
attack.
a question.
Yeah.
So, some cars, if you don't have the key in there, then it's not going anywhere, even if it's started.
Yep.
So would the flipper act as the key?
Nope.
Would it
no.
trick the vehicle into thinking that it was
You
the
can't
key so
drive
that you
away
could
with
drive
it.
away?
Not in this case. There are other ways to do that, but not with the flipper.
Okay.
And not with this firmware.
All right. Right on. So there is something the flipper can't do. That's good to know.
For now.
Yeah. What are we looking at next?
All right, so I'll get through a couple more of these gadgets, and a friend of mine, Rocket
that's a
Guy,
Hack
was
RF.
nice enough to send out, this. So the
I
newer
want one of
so I
those,
could
but they're
show a
just
newer one. Last
so
time I was here, I
expensive. They're
showed
like
the
through
Hack
like
RF.
$500.
But it was like I bought the radio and then I put a thing called a porta-pack on top of it so that it had a screen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a Frankenstein version
This
of
was
this.
the thing you can control airplanes with, right?
Yeah, same exact device. This is just way newer and better and has newer features and does different things. But basically, what I wanted to show you, obviously watch the first one if you guys want to know more about it. But for you, Sean, what you can receive on this thing, obviously airplanes, boats, Bluetooth. You can have it's like any sub-gigahertz signals, you're going to see what they are to some degree. Weather transmissions in the radio. You're going to have tire pressure monitors, which is the one I wanted to kind of stop on and explain, because I can actually, when we're driving around, I can see people's tire pressures in their cars. And then in certain cars, the way that not all, but a good amount, I mean, I don't know the exact number, you can transmit a tire pressure monitoring reading to the car and make them think they have a flat. So they pull off to the side of the road. And I'm sure you can understand the dangers in that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, there's a bunch of random features in here, like satellite stuff and fox hunting, meaning like finding other people that are that have radios. And that's all here in the receive section. And then it's obviously touchscreen too. The transmit feature, though, this is where there's a couple funny things that were added. So touch tunes, like, the bars and clubs and restaurants where you have to pay for the music. This has a full controller for them. So I can turn them up, I can change the song, I can change the volume, I can turn them on, off.
That's
do all
hilarious.
these things.
Imagine just doing that in a club or
Which
somewhere.
is unbelievable. Like
At a party.
it's a ton of fun when you're at a bar or something and some crappy song's on, you just skip it, and some guy just paid for it. You have the ability to Bluetooth spam, kind of what I did earlier. On your phone. You have key fob. So another one, CVS spam is what it's called on here. But CVS, Walgreens, Lowe's, all those places that have the assistance bells, like, when you're in an aisle and it'll say, like, click the button to get an attendant. All of those buttons have been captured by hackers out there. So if you're in, let's just say a CVS, and I click CVS spam, I have first aid department, aisle 11, film department, vitamin department, all of, like, so many, like at least 100 different buttons. And then there's a chaos mode. You see that button down there? It says chaos.
Yeah.
So if I click chaos, all of them go off at the same time. So the intercom goes, ding, assistance needed in the dentistry department. Ding, assistant needed in the cosmetic. But the funny part is,
We got to go to CVS tonight, and I got to hear this shit.
That sounds like a good prank.
the part that sucks for the employees at the place is sometimes it's ringing bells that they don't even have. So they can't go to the aisle to turn it off. They got to go into the back and reset the system because they might not have a cosmetics department, but they need assistance in the cosmetic department.
Nice.
So that was something interesting. And then something I contributed to this was the gas station signs. And I made a video, and so did the guy who gave me this, where you could change the prices of the gas signs. It's on my TikTok. If you go all the way back, you'll see the gas, like the actual price I was changing to like $7 a gallon, just by sending a radio frequency. And then as you know, we talked about before, how you could transmit radio to airplanes and cause some confusion, bare minimum, without getting into the danger side of things. So that's that in a quick snapshot.
Does that come like that?
No.
You have to configure it.
The HackRF itself doesn't come with the firmware that's on this, but you can get the firmware, and if you're motivated enough, you'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
So yes, technically, kind of, but also no. All right, and then
Stuff just scares the hell out of me, man.
I showed this last time, but I'll get into the whole creating cybersecurity content online and how that was all a thing for me. But this device right here, the Ponagachi, I showed it on the last episode. I'm showing it again.
I want one of those. I want to build one.
Must have got 50 million views combined on just my not people clipping my stuff, just my own channels, and something close to that. And basically, all this does, as soon as you turn it on, is it looks for all of the Wi-Fi networks around. And it's just like, you remember Tamagotchis when you were a kid? Like the little pets that you put on your keychain, you got to feed them or they die.
Yeah.
It's essentially exactly like a Tamagotchi, but it lives off of eating Wi-Fi networks, meaning taking the Wi-Fi password, it's called a handshake, and it uses that as food.
So I want to explain what a handshake is. So a handshake is like when you go to connect to the Wi-Fi from like your phone is going to send a SYN signal, which is synchronization signal, just announcing like, hey, I want to connect to you. And then your router is going to send another one saying a SYN acknowledgement packet, which is it acknowledging, okay, you got it, we're going to connect. And then they acknowledge it, and they're connected. If that makes any type of sense. I think it did. Okay, let's continue.
So the more handshakes it captures, the smarter it gets, and the more efficient it gets, and it goes into this auto mode where it gets itself on the perfect frequency so it can capture as many networks as it can as you're walking around or while you're in a building. So this thing is, and you're watching the screen, the thing's got it smiles when it gets a network, it's mad when it doesn't, it has a whole little personality. And this is called the Ponagachi. You got to build these though.
Okay, so hold on. So if you turn that on, it just eats my, what does it do?
So it's how it works is it knocks your devices off the network, very similar to what we talked about. Mm-hmm. As they're reconnecting, it's capturing the handshake between that device and your router. And that handshake is what I would bring onto my computer later to crack your passwords.
Dude, what? How?
Yeah, you use like a packet analyzer to analyze the packet, and they're actually really cool. They basically they capture the packets, and you can analyze the packet and find the password within the packet. It's pretty easy, actually.
How the fuck are people supposed to protect themselves from this shit?
I mean,
is it just impossible?
It's a cat and mouse game.
Would that other device, that Verizon network thing in disguise, would that pick that up?
No, because that's cellular. This is Wi-Fi. Yeah, but there are things that
so you could just be running around with that, and you'll just capture any Wi-Fi network you want.
Anything on 2.4 gigahertz. But there's newer devices now that work on 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz. Like Wi-Fi 6. There's this is 2.4, which almost everybody still has, but whatever the case is, it does some damage. For
the other ones are just more expensive.
A couple different devices sandwiched on top of each other, like just a battery pack for $6 on Amazon, basically. And then you have a Raspberry Pi Zero, which they're very cheap, $10, $20, somewhere very cheap, and then $3 to $4 for the display, sandwiched on top, custom firmware, and now you got a Ponagachi. So.
So, I mean, how do people, is it impossible to protect yourself against that stuff? Or,
I mean, you can have like a deauth detector, meaning like if it sees a deauth packet, like what that thing is doing to try to get the handshake, you'll know it happened, but you're not going to stop it. Like, especially on the older stuff, it's just not even possible.
man, dude. Every time you come around, it scares the hell out of me.
Well, I'm sorry, but also not.
Yeah, some threats, they will do a DOF attack, which basically forces your devices off the network, and then they have a packet analyzer running. And when your device tries to connect back to it, they capture that packet and they got your password. Easy peasy.
Sorry, because I'm trying to educate the people that would never, look into this stuff because they don't care,
Yeah.
but they'll care if it happens to them.
So you got to be running a jammer.
Yeah, if you run an illegal jammer to stop the crime from happening to you.
Yeah.
But then you won't have internet, so it's a catch-22.
Damn, dude.
One last thing with gadgets that I want to bring up that I know that this one is something that's up your alley is a friend of mine, Peaks, loves hardware hacking. And he sent this out to me, two things out to me actually. And he calls this the Hacker's Nightlight. Let me move this out of the way. So this is called the Hacker's Nightlight, and take a look at it. It's nothing about this thing while I get the other thing out looks like there's anything that could be done. Like it doesn't look like anything but a regular smart bulb you would order on Amazon. This one is still in the Amazon packaging that he just wrote on it, so I know that it's hacked. But like, look at this. Like, what about this tells you it's even been touched by somebody?
Nothing.
Nothing. Looks just like a smart plug and a smart light, right? I mean, we talked about the last time I was here how I had it was like it's called a Tinico. It was a vacuum mop that connected to a Chinese cloud server, and how they could potentially push a custom firmware update to the mop without you knowing that it was malicious to get on your network, or if a hacker infiltrated their servers, they could do that to any of your smart home devices. Well, here's an example of smart home devices that are already hacked.
That's why you want to have separate VLANs for that. So like you want your stuff like that on a separate VLAN, which is basically you're dividing the network. So like VLAN 1 can be for like your main devices. VLAN 2 will be like your security cameras and etc. That's the only way to prevent them from escalating. It won't stop it, but it will keep them from escalating to your main devices.
Already have custom software firmware on them that the second they're powered on, they get full access to your to the Wi-Fi network in the air in your area. So I showed a video on my social media of that light bulb capturing a wireless camera that was transmitting data over HTTP, and which just means that I was able to watch the camera feed without even connecting to the Wi-Fi, without the password at all, just because that light bulb was in proximity of the camera.
That's why you always want to use HTTPS. You don't want to use HTTP. HTTP is unsecure, so if you click on the website and it usually gives you a warning in the web browser, but if it says it's HTTP, I personally wouldn't trust it, and I don't think you should either.
So I'll show you when I plug it in that thing will turn on like a light bulb, but it's going to broadcast its own network. And this is a kid's lamp. So let's say I'm in your office, right? I'm in your office. You leave me alone for a minute, and I swap out one of your bulbs for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how often you're checking your light bulb, Sean, but
I can tell you this much: if the hue's off, I'm on it.
Facts.
So let me turn the bulb on. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I definitely noticed that. Right up. That is not.
But in the software, you can see you can change the color, so I can match the hue of your.
Of course you can.
Well, he planned for that. So while that's very bright, you can see the network here. It's called Nightlight.
Yeah.
So that bulb has its own network that's coming off of it. Sorry, you want me to be under the thing. So let me connect to the Nightlight.
Oh boy.
Here we go. So look,
What have
hacker
they stolen?
nightlight. I'm connected to a configuration page,
That's cool.
and then see I have there's oops, trying to send me a message. Light color setting. I can pick, the color code. I can check the brightness. I could change it on. You just see how the bulb reacted to it. I could change all of that. I can change the attack. I can steal. I can even denial of service attack, like I was just talking about. Take the Wi-Fi out with this thing. I can listen to network traffic with this thing. I could steal handshakes with this thing. Same as the Ponagachi. And all this needs to be is just in proximity of your networks. And it's a light bulb that can be any color, so it would match your hues.
Damn.
So that's one.
And you can just buy this on the internet.
Well, yeah, I'm sure Peaks would sell you one, but he made this for me. They're not like mass produced, if that's what you're asking.
Right on.
As of right now, I think in the future his plan is to do that, but he ordered these off of Amazon and hacked them himself.
This stuff is scary.
Yeah, it is very scary, and it comes in all shapes and sizes, and most people are never going to know when these things are in their house, in their office, in their car, and and the way to detect them is pretty tough, like using kind of what we did last time I was there, like using a bugs finder with an EMF detector and just
Damn.
taking educated guesses. Like, of course, a smart bulb or a smart outlet is going to be emitting electromagnetic fields. It's going to be emitting Wi-Fi. That's what they're supposed to do. So how are you supposed to know it's malicious or not malicious?
You don't.
So trust me, I love coming with solutions, but in certain cases, there aren't solid solutions.
Damn, man. What's your favorite device out of all this stuff?
Favorite device out of all of it? Like I said last time, my laptop, because there's, it's endless. But if you're going to say gadget, I'm going to go with this.
No kidding.
The H4M, yeah.
Right on. No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this,
Shout out Sean Ryan. That does it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, anything that can be hacked will be hacked. So it's best to learn about it so you can properly defend yourself against it. That's it. Have a great day. I'm signing out.